Right then, in this video we're going to be testing out a bit of software online that's called DALL-E. What this software does is create completely artificial images. It's basically creating artificially its own art. Now, how can it create just random images? It's very complicated. It really shows how far these algorithms have really come on in recent years. How it works is you simply type in what you want and it creates you a picture of it. Some things it produces are scarily realistic just for an algorithm to create, while other things it creates are a bit off, like it's blurry or distorted and doesn't really work out. Now, this would have used some sort of training material which it uses for what it generates. Now, I want to push this algorithm to the test by asking it to draw images which it will never have come across before. In other words, forcing it to understand the different concepts of what I'm asking and morphing those together. Things such as URBEX scenes, which I doubt is going to have any real training on an URBEX scene. Like, I know exactly what an URBEX scene looks like because I do it all the time. Things like person stands on top of a crane. Assuming it hasn't actually got a picture of that, it will have to work out what a crane is, what a person is, and try and get that understanding of the concept of person on top of crane, and then merge those sort of things together to create that image. So I really want to push it hard, push it into creating images which it wouldn't normally be used to creating. Let's put it to the test. Let's begin. So I'm going to start off with wide angle lens photo, and you have to put that in at the start, otherwise it comes out with cartoons and other stuff. I only want photos, I'm not interested in anything else. So of a futuristic metro system train station with platform doors. I'll hope it produces something really realistic for that. That looks like a cross between a lift and a train. That could work. I'm not sure about that one. This one, that seems quite garbled because it's somebody's got several doors at the back. Then on the right looks like a bit of a train. That doesn't really make that much sense. That one there, what's that? It could be a bit of Jubilee line maybe. Again, that doesn't quite make sense. It looks quite arty. And now that one is more like it because you've got there a nice platform. That's a very nice looking metro system. Although slightly strange. So it looks like it's a fish tank where the train's supposed to be. Wide angle lens photo, view from an elevator shaft, I'm going to say elevator because it's American, of a person standing on top of a moving elevator car. Let's see. That one, that kind of works. That could be a top of a lift car, although at the same time it doesn't quite make sense. Is that the outer door or the inner door of the lift? Well, let's give it benefit of doubt. That's the outer door, so that could work, except no, at the same time, it looks like a picture looking down from a CCTV cam of someone in the lift. But at the same time, it could slightly be someone on top of the lift. This kind of gets confused on that one. That one's inside the lift, so that's invalid, although it does look like quite a nice lift. That one, it's actually done it that time. You got a lift track there, a box on the lift. No, except the angle's wrong. The camera's looking up at the person. No, so that's not worked out.
That looks like the person standing on his head.
Yeah, someone's standing on top of her head. No, someone's doing a backflip on top of a lift car. Okay, I'm now overdubbing this bit of a video because I'm just having a correction of what I was saying on this bit. Because there's this picture, and initially I actually thought that is a picture of someone standing on top of a lift. But I actually now, when I reviewed the video, don't think it is. Well, it could be some form of car top with a big sort of very substantial fence around it. But it'd have to be like an in-ground hydraulic lift because there's no cables. I actually don't think it is. I think that picture's also supposed to be inside the lift car. So this thing, I just don't think understands what a lift car top is. There she says it's also generated these images, and you got this one here which is a very similar view, but that one is clearly meant to be someone inside a lift rather than on top. You got this view here. Now that one could be some sort of lift shaft. I don't know, this one's a very confusing picture, I'm not sure about that. Then you got this picture, and there's many ways you could interpret what that picture is. It's someone standing in a lift with a weird circle on the floor, or is it one of those glass lift shafts, but a glass lift shaft doesn't go all the way to the ground, so it's like the bottom of the glass lift shaft's like 5 floors up and he's standing in the pit. It's very confusing. Then you've also got this picture here, which despite it being on the same search terms, this looks more like he's standing on an area on a rooftop. I've seen rooftop areas that look quite like that. That's quite a nice URBEX picture, but it's certainly not the picture I asked for. But most of the pictures it generates is things like this, person inside a lift. So this system does not understand what a lift car top is. It has no concept that lift car tops actually exist. Okay, now let's do a good URBEX picture. We're now going to be doing wide angle lens photo of a person on a roof of a tall skyscraper. Oh, got some interesting ones here. Actually, that one, what do you think of that one? That's pretty good. Although it's not really photo, it's more of an art picture, and I guess that could be a photo. This one, that looks like Stratford. Yeah, Stratford. That's
why do people on this look like monsters, though?
That one looks like a watercolour even though I put in a photo. That definitely looks like Stratford, that background. That one, oh, that's a good one. That looks like a proper URBEX photo. I'm quite pleased with that. And that one, yeah, that one's okay. So I generated a few more URBEX pictures of people on roofs to see how realistic it can get these pictures. We've got this picture here. This one's actually quite realistic, although the person's face looks a bit odd. Then this one here, which is like an URBEX of like a little ledge or balcony near the top floor of a building. That one's actually pretty realistic. I quite like that one. Then you got this one here, where the person seems not that realistic. It's like got a slight outline, like it's a really bad Photoshop. But the actual building itself and the ledge he's on, that part looks particularly realistic. Then you've also got this one, which is an utter fail, because he's not standing on the roof. He's standing off the side of a roof and is somehow magically floating. Wide angle lens photo of a person sitting on the roof of a skyscraper with their legs dangling over the edge. So then, for getting an image generated of a leg dangle on a building artificially, it actually took many goes. It kept producing images like this, which is not really what I was looking for. It also did images like this, which looks very much like an actual rooftop I've been on, but it's still not understood what I meant by leg dangle. It got a bit better with images like this, which is kind of a leg dangle, but I want a view looking directly downwards. But it also completely failed with an image like that. What the fuck is going on there? But I finally managed to get the actual view I wanted, an actual proper looking down view. The problem with the images it generated is, when you do so in real life, you can really see when something's wrong. It's the same thing like when I watch some stupid superhero movie. Because I've been on roofs in real life, and I've got friends that do parkour and stunts on rooftops. I know how stunts actually look in the real world. And on Marvel movies, they're just not realistic. Often they're very cinematic, cameras panning all over the place, and it's very whizzy. But the actual perspective of it, I just know, in real life, it doesn't look how it looks in the movie. And to me, it makes the movies feel very fake. Often the action wouldn't have actually gone like that in real life. And I just find superhero movies just don't do it for me. Simply because I've actually been on actual rooftops and real life is so much better. The same thing applies to these artificially generated images. If you haven't been on a rooftop, you might think this image here actually looks pretty good. Well, let's just take a look at a real image of being on a roof. And it looks like this. Notice the angle of how it looks. And go back to the generated image, the perspective is wrong. It's like the person's legs are floating in a slightly weird way, which is not how it is in real life. And in this image, the perspective is completely, utterly wrong. The viewpoint of the person's legs does not match the viewpoint of the building. Then on this image, the person's legs are positioned in a very peculiar way, and that is not the slightest bit realistic. So then, the next thing you're going to be doing is wide angle lens photo of a person climbing the jib of a very tall tower crane. Ooh, now that is interesting. That looks like a full-on someone dangling off a crane. The crane's not accurate though. That doesn't look... Well, I know what cranes look like, so I can say it's not quite right, but that's a good attempt. And I can't work out if that's a picture looking down at the ground, or if that's a picture looking up at the sky. Next one. Oh, that is a good one. That actually looks like a full-on URBEX picture as well. I'm actually impressed. I didn't think it generated something like that. I'm quite impressed with that one. And next one... That is a nice one, although it doesn't quite make sense. Like, the view is slightly weird. It looks like a camera's on someone's shoulder. Is that meant to be a person's head? The view is certainly quite strange here. And the next one is... That looks like a genuine URBEX picture, but sort of blurred and muffled together. I'm not quite sure how this generates its content, because all of the pictures are artificial, but the pictures have to be based from somewhere, so it's using some sort of reference material for it. But that is a good view, looking up at the crane with the person there. So that's done that pretty well. I'm quite impressed with that. Okay, let's now ask for a bunker. So this time I'm going to be asking for wide angle lens photo of a Soviet deep level underground bunker. I don't know if it's going to know what Soviet means in relation to bunker, but we'll find out. Oh, what's it got? Oh, that one is good. It's really done that well. Although that bunker looks a bit more World War II than Soviet, maybe. No, I'm being too pedantic. That is a really good picture. That one there, yeah, that's an okay bunker. That looks more like that bunker in Paris that got turned into an electricity tunnel. That's a nice one, but not as good. Now that is good. That is proper bunker. I really like that one. It's done that one well. And that one there, that's alright. It's more atmospheric, but it's like less detailed. My favourite one is even that one. That's really inspirational. It really makes me want to explore. That really inspires URBEX. But that one, that's the best. That's brilliant, that one. And that one there is a bunker. That looks like the Soviet bunker I went to. It literally looks like a Soviet bunker. So now let's try and do a bit more of an apocalypse scene. Just out of interest, see if it can generate this. So the next one I'm going to do is we're going to be more focused on the people rather than the bunker. So this time, wide angle lens photo of people wearing gas masks entering a bunker. Let's have a look. first, well, it hasn't done these ones that well, actually. Like, it's done what it said, but I guess my description didn't really explain it well enough, so maybe it's my own fault. But as a construction site, that one isn't really, well, I guess it kind of matches the description, but it's not even really a bunker. It looks like a basement of some building site again. That one, that looks like, I don't know what that is. That's some sort of URBEX site. But it hasn't really got the people wearing gas masks that well. That one is closer to what it was I was looking for. Is it a bunker? I don't know, a bunker with a sort of circle hole. That looks like the foundations of a building, like an URBEX of a basement of an abandoned building. But I guess that one has kind of done the description a bit better. So out of interest, just to see how well it will do, the next picture I'm going to look for is photo of person wearing a gas mask. I guess there's quite a lot of those sort of pictures online, so I think this one will be a bit easier for it. Yeah, these are more like just a picture off the internet, really. I guess that one is slightly strange. Actually, yeah, it's creeping me out, that one. I don't like that one. That one, that's like a mix of pictures from the internet. It doesn't feel like something it's generated. It looks like it's found a few pictures and sort of merged them together, because that doesn't quite look that realistic to me. A gas mask's a bit weird. Like, it starts as a gas mask on that bit, then it's not on that bit. That's just slightly weird. That one, yes, that is sort of a bit like a GP5 or GP5M gas mask. Kind of, but a bit sort of strangely altered. That is really weird. And that one there, that's more of a modern gas mask. That one is quite photorealistic. So that one has done it quite well. Okay, now let's do another apocalypse scene. Just out of interest, to see if it can produce it this time. I'm giving it another chance to produce an atmospheric style picture. So this time I put photo of people wearing gas masks while waiting for a Soviet train at a station covered in snow. Oh, that's interesting what it's got here. That one is, actually that is really fucking strange. Are those people or those monsters? Oh, it doesn't have the train though. I guess, yeah, my description wasn't clear enough. You really have to be precise with what you're looking for. I was hoping you actually have a train in the picture as well, but still, that one's actually got the atmosphere quite well. It looks like a very post-apocalyptic sort of atmosphere. I actually like that one. It's got the atmosphere right. That one also works really well. It's got that sort of apocalypse atmosphere as well. That's got it really well, especially with how murky the picture looks. It looks like a chemical attack's just happened and all the air's murky. That's got it nice. That one there is, actually that's quite weird, that one. It's got the tracks of snow on better. So that's done that correctly. Oh, I wanted it to have a train in the background. I don't know what that's got. Is that a water gun or something? What the fuck's he holding there? That's not really a gas mask. That's more of like a chemical suit. But I guess that still does the trick. Now let's do a different subject matter. Let's now do a bit of train surfing. Train surfing is going to be a hard one, simply because I don't think it's going to have that in the reference material that it's been trained on. Photo of person holding onto the back of a moving train. Oh, it doesn't do it. It doesn't get the concept. It's got someone, it looks like someone side surfing the train, but I actually put it holding onto the back of the train. I wanted the back surf. It just doesn't understand what concept is. Well, that's a side surf. That is pretty good, although a person's hand looks like it's deformed. Next one. I don't know what that is. That looks like someone tried to emergency release a train. That looks like someone's walked on the tracks on the opposite platform. A train's about to depart the station. The person's tried to troll the driver by safely braking the train by pulling the external door release. Something I definitely would never do myself. And that one there looks like someone leaning out of a train in India or somewhere where the doors don't shut. Like, I don't know, somewhere in Tunisia or somewhere. Okay, let's try another one. I really want to see if I can make it do a train surf. Okay, let's do a roof ride now for a train surf. Photo of multiple people standing on a roof of a train while it is moving. Ah, yes, that really has more of a Bangladesh feel. I think that's where it's got its reference from. It's done that in an interesting way, although that train looks incredibly weird. Is that train a narrow gauge train or is it? A train's not quite big enough. That one, that looks like some picture from Bangladesh or India. You can see how it's done that one, except they're not really on the roof of the train, so that doesn't quite meet the description. That one, yes, it does a description, but it's not quite what I was asking for. And the next one, that is definitely like a Bangladesh scene. Everyone climbing up on that train as fast as possible because the train's crowded and it's about to depart. Yeah, I guess it's produced some realistic scenes from that part of the world. It hasn't really produced a more of an URBEX style train surf. Try and improve this. I really want to get a picture of the back of the train and someone surfing it. So far it's not been able to produce that. So this time I'm going to be a bit more precise. I'm going to put photo of person sitting on the coupler on a train moving at high speed. Oh, it hasn't done it! Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm really disappointed. I really made it precise. That one is not even coming close. And that one there is, I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's not anything. Okay, a photo of several people holding onto the outside rear cab of a moving train. It hasn't really done it again. What the fuck is that? What the fuck's that blob? It looks like someone's hand morphed into some sort of blob on the side of the train. Every time I do anything about people on outsides of trains, it immediately takes me to Bangladesh. Yeah, that one... That's not quite really. It's getting a bit closer. That one... That looks like people reaching down to open the doors of a slam door train. And that one is not done it at all because that's the inside of a train. So then I also did a lot of different wordings to see if I could manage to get it showing me a picture of someone surfing the back of a train. But sadly it was not able to do it. I got pictures like that, which is quite good, and pictures like that, which does look pretty good, but the actual full proper train surf, it does not do. Okay, we're now moving on to the next subject matter. The next subject matter I want to be looking at is if it can get face expressions of certain emotions. I'm going to do certain sort of scenarios of people feeling emotion, and I want to see if it gets the emotion right. So this one, I'm pretty much asking for Donald Trump. Photo of angry politician summoning his supporters with guns to stage a coup in Parliament. It's Donald Trump, isn't it? Let's see what it generates for that. I've got some very strange images. That? What the fuck? Well, it's not Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump will stick his tongue out when summoning his armed supporters to the White House. What the actual fuck? That one I'm not sure about. That's a bit weird. The next one's an utter fail. And that one... I don't know. It hasn't generated it very well. Okay, let's now try another sort of politician. Let's try Mog. Photo of politician fall asleep in Parliament with a smug expression on his face. Oh, that's got it a bit more. But it's not quite a smug expression. It more looks like he just fell asleep. I want the actual smug Mog look where he's deliberately fallen asleep to be rude to everyone else. It hasn't quite got it. He looks like he's fell asleep naturally. He doesn't look like he's doing it to be smug. He looks like he fell asleep naturally. It doesn't look very smug. And the same with that one. Okay, the next one I'm going to make it a bit more specific. Photo of politician falling asleep in Parliament in a sarcastic way to insult the other people with a smug expression on his face. Let's see if that will generate a more Mog looking picture. So, just for reference, here is the real picture of what I'm describing, of Mog falling asleep, well, pretending to have fallen asleep in Parliament. Let's see what artificial pictures get generated. I'm not sure about that. That one? Maybe? Oh, he looks a bit smug, but not quite. Okay. That one. Yeah, he could be falling asleep sarcastically, or he could have just fallen asleep naturally. That's not quite doing it. That one. Yeah, he looks very smug, like he's taking a piss. Look at a big smile on his face. Yeah, that one's done it. And that one. This face is a bit deformed. Photo of politician when he realises he is defeated in the election. It's not really. That is... Maybe? I don't know. What do you do that one? I'm not sure. I don't know that one. That one, yeah, I don't know if it's like stuck to his head. That one, yeah, that is kind of it. And none of these have quite the expression I'm looking for. That one, not really. That looks more like a journalist than a politician. And that one there, oh dear, he's a nationalist! I don't think that one's quite right. It hasn't got the expression. I think that one's probably the best one out of those. Photo of angry security guard chases photographers. Yeah, I guess those ones do the job. What I sort of visualise when I type these things is often quite different to what it produces. So I guess you need to be really descriptive to get it to do exactly what you want it to do. But this does fill the criteria. But I can't quite tell what's happening on that. I don't get that. Seems quite aggressive, that picture. So my last few searches, what I've come to realise is you can't really get it to do like a story scenario. It's not a storybook. It can't create a scene based on like a descriptive story. What you have to do is type in exactly what it is you're looking for. It can't really create like emotions or can't really do like an illustration of an event sort of thing. Now that one's the wrong way round. The photographer's chasing a security guard at that one. That doesn't make sense. And that one there doesn't quite make sense. Wide angle lens photo of a group of friends explore a facility while avoiding security. So let's have a look. Yes, that one matches the description. The avoiding security bit, maybe. They look like they're walking slightly nervously. So yeah, that kind of does the description. That one that's pretty much the scene I was thinking of when I typed it, like a abandoned sort of building and people exploring. It doesn't look like they're really avoiding security in that. It looks like they're just standing around. It doesn't have that sort of URBEX feel of avoiding and being sneaky. It just looks like everyone's relaxed in the building. That one, apart from that person looks like they're floating, those people look like they're pretty relaxed there, although that picture's a bit more of a sort of arty sort of thing. I don't really like that one so much. And that one, no, they're all relaxed. They're not really avoiding security. Let's change explore to exploring, so it's in the present tense. Let's do, rather than avoiding security, exploring a facility while avoiding being seen on CCTV. Ah, now that is exactly what I was looking for. You got the camera there. Oh, I guess they're not really avoiding it. They look like they're standing around talking to each other, which, it wasn't quite look good to start with, but it doesn't quite have that sneaky feel to it. But that is kind of good. That one, not sure if the camera's there. Yeah, I guess the people are slightly weird looking on that one. That one, oh, that is actually a good one. I kind of like that. That is like an URBEX scene. Got the camera up there, a weird looking camera, and the people sort of going past. Yeah, that's good. And finally, that one. Is that meant to be the camera there? You can easily avoid that. That's not even that hard to avoid, that camera. So I also did some more tests to see what other images I could get of various URBEX scenes. And I got this. This looks stunning. This, I think, is the best picture it's produced so far. I really like this picture. It's got a real URBEX vibe to it of people going around exploring. Also got this picture. That looks like an abandoned kitchen or back room of like a shopping centre or something. That is a good URBEX. Got this one as like an URBEX of an office building. Then this one. That is a good URBEX. That looks like something like Fargo Centre but with a big camera which you're having to avoid. I quite like those pictures. So the next category we're going to be doing is morphed aminals. Now notice on screen here it actually shows a fictional aminal. I've not had much luck at generating fictional animals. I'll do that one next. Photo of an animal that is a cross between a dog and a cat. Oh, it's actually done it. No fucking way. He's actually done it. I'm quite amazed. I wanted to do some really obscure ones now. See how obscure I can make this get. Yep, that's a dog crossing a cat. It's done what exactly I said. That one, that's more of a dog. Not sure of that one. I want to make this obscure now to see how far I can push my luck. An animal that's a cross between a dog and a human is going to be hard. I want to see how well it does that. I am quite amazed this could do morphed animals. It can't do some URBEX scenes. It can't do leg dangles. It can't do train surfs. But it can do morphed animals. No, it can't do that one. Morphs between cats and dogs is something I think some people create on the internet. So it probably has some sort of reference to that. But the cross between dogs and humans is something, like if you search it on Google image search, there isn't much for it to reference because it's not really a concept that it's going to know what that concept is. So, that's not done it. That's not done it either. It can't do it. An animal that's a cross between a dog and a human did not work. Okay, let's give it a really hard one now. A photo of an animal that's a cross between a hamster and a turtle. It's done it. Holy shit. I did not expect that. I really did not expect it to grasp that concept. Fucking hell. Because on that, I don't know if there's going to be much source material for that. How did it do that? Because that means it has to understand the concept of morphed animals and be able to use some form of algorithm to expand on that. Even in fictional terms, it's not a common thing to see. So the fact it managed to make a morph is really impressive. I don't know how it managed to do that. But that is actually really, really impressive. It literally has done what I asked it to do perfectly. So why can't it do human morphs, but it can do morphs between two animals? Okay, I want to do another human morph, because I'm sure it should be able to do that. Okay, let's try a cat and a human. No, it can't do it. Maybe it's got an ethical filter that blocks it. See, it literally cannot do a morph between a human and animal. It can do morphs between animals, but not between human and animal, which I don't get. There's no human features to that cat. There's no human features to that cat, although the eyes are slightly really big. There's no human features on that cat. And there's no human features on that cat. So it literally can't do human and animal morphs. It's really weird. Okay, let's do it morphs between categories. So let's do it between a pigeon and a something that's completely non-pigeon-like, and a horse. Now, you can't get much more different than a pigeon and a horse. No, it hasn't managed that one. It's interesting, actually, what morphs it can and can't do. That one's got... That looks like a chicken rather than a pigeon. No, that's not done it. That's not done it. That's not done it. No, it can't do it. It's too obscure. Literally can't do it. Like, I'd hope at least would have put a wing on the horse or something. Actually, let's make it obscure. Let's do a cross between a pigeon and a Lady Amherst pheasant. Now, one thing you might not know is a long time ago, before I started YouTube, one of my hobbies was pheasants. I used to be absolutely obsessed with pheasants. So I know exactly what a Lady Amherst pheasant looks like. And if I'm doing a cross between a pigeon and a Lady Amherst pheasant, I'd want to see a bit of both species sort of intertwined with each other. Now, that's got some interesting results. That looks like a Lady Amherst pheasant, although a slightly strangely coloured one. I thought it was a bit of blue on a Lady Amherst pheasant, but I can't see any pigeon on that one. That one, is there any pigeon on that one? Yeah, you can see it has kind of done it there, because you've got that bit of brown, which is more of a pigeon brown. So that is a really strange picture, but that actually has done what I've asked for. So it's kind of got a pigeon body there in brown, then it's got a wing of a Lady Amherst pheasant. The head is really strange. Really, really strange. And actually, that one's done it pretty well. A kind of a pigeon, but with a bit of Lady Amherst colouring and Lady Amherst head. Yeah, it's kind of done it, but I guess that was... Those two birds are very far apart in relation to each other, so to try and make a morph between them was quite a challenge, but I'm quite impressed with that one. So then, and finally, before I end this video, I'm going to show you some of the things I managed to produce earlier. Just out of interest, I've actually been doing quite a few tests on this, just out of interest, because I do find this thing quite fascinating. So at the moment in the modern day, there's a new revelation happening. Computers can now do this sort of artificially generating art thing. But it still doesn't detract from real artists, and the people out there who are claiming this will detract from real artists are kidding themselves, because it's not. It's an interesting thing, it can have possible uses, but it's more of a gimmick. Like, does this thing have real use, or is it just more of a gimmick? So let's take a look at some of the things I generated earlier. Map of a fictional underground system in a city. This one produced some quite interesting results, but it didn't really do anything meaningful, because it made it quite arty like that, but none of these actually work as a functioning map. Like, that's not really that could be anything. It sort of looks a bit like a map when you initially look at it. That one's probably the closest, but when you really look in detail, you realise that can't actually function as a metro system. It looks nothing like a real metro map. And then I searched for a map of a fictional underground system in a city based on the tube map. It produces that. Initially, it looks like, oh, it's actually made a map. And you realise, no, it hasn't made a map. It does not look slightest bit like a functioning map at all. That one, maybe a little bit more. But still, it doesn't really work. Like, it doesn't really make anything that meaningful. Like, maybe it's more like a tram system map or like a German Stadtbahn that could work. But it's not really a full tube map. But the results it generates are quite weird. Like, that looks a bit more like a road map than an underground map. That one, yes, but when you see that line goes wiggle, wiggle, yes, it doesn't work. In a moment of stupidity, I had the very bad decision to type in baby eating poo. And it came up with that. And I am really horrified. I'm actually quite shocked by that. Out of all of the things I've ever asked this bit of software to generate for me, this is the most realistic picture it's ever produced. And it's a picture of baby eating poo. How? Out of everything I've asked for, how on earth is a baby eating poo the most realistic thing it's ever made? That scares me. Then it also produced that one, and that one looks like baby licks giant hairball rather than poo. But it's also very disgusting. Then I also did some underground trains of stuff. Narrow gauge underground train, and considering underground trains are rarely narrow gauge, I also tried politician smokes weed. Got some very dubious results of that. That one, why has he got weed earrings? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That one is really strange. That one, I don't know, it hasn't really quite got it. That's probably the most realistic, and that one's incredibly weird. And I'll regenerate it, see if I get any more. That one, he's got a big cannabis leaf on his mouth. I don't know who thinks that looks like smoking weed, putting a leaf on his mouth. That one, again, is similar. That one's probably the most realistic, although, is he a politician? I don't know. And that one there is Holding a big jar of weed. That makes me laugh, that one. They also put in dog smokes weed. And it came up with that. That kind of looks like a really bad Photoshop where it's put a cigarette onto the dog's mouth. That doesn't look that realistic. I also put in baby smokes weed. I don't know why I put that in. Oh dear. It can produce some very controversial images if you ask it to. Oh dear, that is not good. Then I put in politician snorts crack. That's actually scarily realistic. Very scarily realistic. I don't know what that is. He's taking some sort of edible there, but I don't think he's snorting crack. What's that? He could be drinking a fizzy drink, or it could be some sort of bong. And then you got that one, which is not quite right. But I thought it was a good idea to generate another set. These ones... Oh my. Oh dear. Oh dear. Politicians taking drugs might not be a very good... That looks like Pretty Patel. And that one, was it a cigarette sort of surgically put into his top of his lip? That's a bit strange. But that one, that is freaky. Then I put in politician fights crackhead. The problem is I don't think it knows what crackhead means. You've got a cartoon there. That one. Yeah, crackhead is a colloquial term, so it's not going to understand what it means, I guess. It hasn't quite understood the concept. I then put crackhead poos in alleyway. Again, it doesn't know what crackhead means because it's a colloquial term. But it's managed to get a very nice pooey alleyway. That is a bit too realistic. And that alleyway, oh, that looks like the alleyway a crackhead lives in. Oh, so does that one. That doesn't look at... That looks like an alleyway near me, that one. Then I put rubbish and poo in alleyway. That just looks like a normal everyday scene in the Medway towns. This is not even controversial, these images. It's just a normal street scene in England. Especially that one. So then, let's go to a less controversial subject, and let's go to the subject of railways. Futuristic metro train in station with platform doors. That one's actually pretty good. That actually is kind of what I asked for. But the others, it doesn't quite get it. Like that one, there's no platform doors. The train has single doors rather than double doors, which is a very strange. And a weird circular cupola, which is that's odd. That one, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, because that picture makes no sense at all. I don't even quite get what that's meant to be. That one is kind of like a nice little futuristic train, but it doesn't have the platform doors and it's stationed there. Maybe I'm standing outside of the station. It's got a photo of narrow gauge railway with train in the forest. That thing is, that looks like a tourist railway. I guess when a lot of people say narrow gauge railway, I think of those little sort of like heritage touristy railways. Narrow gauge doesn't have to mean touristy. I want an actual narrow gauge railway rather than a tourist thing. Yeah, let's go out with tourist railways. Why is that train carriage at that angle compared to that one? Okay, let's put in photo of narrow gauge commuter railway. Oh, this has produced some good results. That looks like a tram in Berlin, maybe. So it's a railway track with 3 rails. That makes no sense. Okay, that one is a band and that's 2 running rails, I guess. That's not narrow gauge though. That looks more like meter gauge or standard gauge. But that's a good attempt. I quite like that one. That one, I'm not sure what these trains are. It's somewhere in the world. That's a Soviet train. Or is it? I don't know. It doesn't look narrow gauge to me. The tracks are really rough on these. So that really does look Soviet. Then you got that one. Oh yeah, that's done the job quite nicely. The next one is person riding a sheep. He came up with a lot of cartoons, which is why I always ask for a photo, because the cartoons aren't quite the same thing. And you got like that. That's not that realistic, because it looks like a picture of a person just put onto a picture of a sheep. It doesn't look quite like he's genuinely riding it. Then I put surfing a lift. Then lift, yeah, it's American, so it's elevator. So surfing a lift can't have anything meaningful. And also the idea of surfing it doesn't understand. Surfing an elevator, again, didn't come up with anything meaningful. You can't use colloquial terms like surfing. If you want to get to understand you actually have to put in an actual descriptive what it is. The colloquial terms don't really work. I put riding on top of an elevator cab. It did not understand that at all when I tried it earlier. It hasn't actually produced a genuine image. It just produces like stuff like that really, which is not what I've asked for at all. It's not even close to what I've asked for. Then I got dared by a friend to type in some rather weird things. Person eating poo. You've got a strange cartoon one, which is a bit weird. You've got that, which is incredibly creepy. But then you also got that, which is also creepy. But then you've got that, which is actually a bit more genuine looking. And that really scared me, because that actually looks photorealistic, and I find that one incredibly creepy. So then, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm also going to leave a link so you can go and try generating your own pictures using this software.